Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live broadcast. Very informal chat. I'm here today with a very, very special guest, YouTube creator, video creator. He's got a brand new book that he's just released that I just think is phenomenal. And I wanted to go live with him, and I just want to let you know this dude is so terrific. He's a little nervous because he's not used to going live, but he is awesome. And let me just, I want Gord, this is what I want you to do, okay? I want you to introduce yourself, tell yourself, by the way, welcome Mr. Gord Isman.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
happy to be here.
Welcome to the show. I'm in the process of creating a new talk show. Gord knows this. We've talked a long time about this. Let me just give you a little bit of background. And this is sort of a test run. We're using Zoom. And I wonder if they can see that share screen stuff. I hope they can't. Speaker view, okay, gallery view. Yeah. So how's the audio coming in? Let me know if you can leave some comments below. I'm going to be searching on my phone. I don't want to go too back and forth here. We're going to talk a little bit about this new show that I'm trying to create, and also we're going to talk about YouTube. We're going to talk about live video. We're talking about getting your message out there. We're talking about Facebook groups. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And so I'm going to go ahead and share this out. And please, you do the same thing too, Nez Nation. So good to see you guys. I haven't been on live in a really, really long time. I've been working really hard at creating a whole new, with Gord's help, actually. I've been doing a lot of work creating some high-quality stuff with my video, my audio, especially with the help of Gord. Let me know how it's coming through. But Gord, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do. And maybe if you want to, talk a little bit about how we met.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
welcome Gord Isman.
Thank you. So it's Gord here. I'm from Richmond Hill in Ontario, Canada, where it's quite chilly out today. Right now, at 57 years young, I'm a YouTuber, but I've really focused on wanting to help people discover how to do video and express themselves out in the world of YouTube as another medium to get their message out. And I really have taken to this in the last couple of years. It was a big transition for me from my previous focus of 25 years in my IT career and in analytics and other things, working for large corporations and consulting firms. And I'm, working in my area of passion now and thoroughly enjoying it. And Peter and I belong to an amazing Facebook group called Tube Ritual, where we met there, and I got very inspired by his messages and what he communicates through to Nez Nation and his YouTube channel, and started watching some of his videos. And I've struggled the last several years with some of a lot of the messages that Professor Nez shares in his message. So we just had a good connection, and I just enjoy exploring things and learn a lot from him as well.
Wow, what a great
intro.
What a great intro. What a fantastic intro. And it looks like Sean's in the broadcast. How you doing, Sean? Good to see you. I'm just going to put this right here so I can see the comments. Fantastic. And yeah, I mean, the power of Facebook groups, right, Gord? I mean, such an incredible new thing. And maybe I failed to mention, Gord right now is in Toronto, Canada. Am I right in that, Gord?
Yeah, Richmond Hill, Toronto. I'm in a suburb of Toronto area.
Yeah, he's in a suburb of Toronto, Canada, and I am in Southern California. Boy, the power of today's technology, the power of connectivity. Can it be used for bad? Can it be used for shitty things? Of course it can. But I like to focus on the positive, because what's the alternative, right? And I've made such an amazing connection with these Facebook groups. And Gord is a regular on Tube Ritual, which is a fantastic group that I honestly think it's the best Facebook group I'm a part of. I mean, not to rank them or compare them, but it's just it's interesting, the level of engagement and the level of, quality people, in that group, because, groups can get out of control. Groups can get very chaotic. And, it's allowed me to meet some very interesting people. I'm a professor and a writer and an author, right? And I teach courses all the time on site. I teach at university colleges, and, the things that we discuss in school, are valuable, but some of the people that you find in some of these groups, I mean, your background, Gord, where did you come from? You came from a more, correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
Price Waterhouse?
Oh, so my background is that I graduated university with a Bachelor of Commerce degree in the 80s, and then I went on to computer school as well. So I have both disciplines in my experience, and spent my career half inside consulting firms and half in corporations. So I've had a good variety and mix of experience. And yes, included in there was working for Oracle and for Price Waterhouse, doing high-end consulting in their data warehousing group for technology and business intelligence specialization area. And then the last 3, 4, 5 years of my career, I was at the largest HR consulting organization in the world called Mercer, and I led their BI group, the technical team here in Toronto.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then just becoming 50 plus years old, I was let go after delivering a massive 3-year long project that we won a global award for at Oracle. And that just, was so, and special for me. It was like a nice milestone achievement in my career. And, in an odd way, the timing was good that I got let go, because I'm now here, this is like 6, 7 years later, but I'm now dealing and expressing in my life in a way I never even thought was a dream that was possible back then, because I was just, buried in the corporate dogma and delivering for there and that machine, not really expressing, was more like suppressed creatively. So I discovered a lot about myself, and that's also related to how I eventually got into the inspiration to do the book I just did.
Yeah, we want to get to that. I want to get to your book, because Gord is correct me if I'm wrong, this is your very first book. Am I wrong? I think it's his first book. He's a brand new, fresh.
Yes, it's
fresh from the oven, a brand new author.
Fresh from the oven.
Right? Freshly baked author?
Yes,
that
actually.
That didn't sound good. Anyway.
Well, English and writing, I would not consider to be my strongest suit. I do feel I'm a pretty good communicator, but the thought of actually trying to deliver a project like this was nothing that had ever entered my thoughts until I was struggling so much. And then when I went through some transformational experiences in my life the last several years, I go, wow, I bet there are all kinds of people out there like me that could benefit from some of the amazing lessons I've learned through some of the teachings that I've experienced recently. And I said, I'm going to try to do something special, because the material that affected me, I said, wouldn't it be cool if I could deliver something creatively and marry my photographic skills, my photography skills, with these words of wisdom, just to see how it would feel to interpret the messages. So that's what I decided to do, and I just went for the project. And it was great.
It's this is kind of what I was talking about, like this new platform, all these new mediums, live video especially, which I just love to shit. I mean, I just love live video, and I love, all the connectivity. And obviously, you hear this all the time. It's fantastic, and it's getting bigger and bigger. But I love the camaraderie, I think, more than ever. I just talked to an individual who went to Summit Live recently. I don't know if you're aware of what Summit Live is. Do you know what that is, Gord? It's a conference of basically live video content creators, YouTubers, Snapchatters, Facebookers, the whole gig. I wasn't able to go, even though it was kind of in my backyard, and I don't feel good about that. But
Right.
One of the things that he mentioned was the value that he got off stage, just the people. And I'm so impressed with this community. I'm so impressed with you. I mean, literally, guys, Nez Nation, I probably wouldn't have, if you think the audio sounds good, and Sean, it's good to see you. Thank you for watching. If you're wondering, wow, Professor Nez, it sounds very clear. It sounds great, which Sean just confirmed. He says it looks and sounds great. I met Gord through the Facebook group Tube Ritual, okay? I'm learning a shit ton from content creators like, everybody that's in that Tube Ritual group is fantastic. I mean, obviously Brian G. Johnson, Nick, and others. It's almost like, such a giving, such a wonderful, it's like a university in itself, if that makes sense. Maybe in some instances, maybe even more valuable than a university.
Well, I like, sorry to interrupt, Peter. I like what you said.
Go ahead.
It is a very unique community among Facebook groups because everybody is, cheering each other on and more than willing to give a helping hand or a recommendation. And I just find it feels like it's like a home. It's like a safer place than most other Facebook groups where you go in and, you can easily be judged by, you contributing something and everyone's concerned about, such a degree of political correctness. But the reality is,
there's some stiff admins out there. I mean, there's some serious stiff admins, and I'm all for, especially, and we've kind of talked about this before, Gord, and maybe we should dive into this. I'm not afraid to talk about this, but I'm just shocked at some of the groups where they seem to be such a staunch advocate for helping and community, and I want you to be a part of this group, and I want you to share. And then as soon as you share something, it's almost like you're crucified, like how dare you share. But they post a lot of self-promotional stuff, a lot of things all about them, and it's just such in
a funny way. I look at it as it's almost like
it's not. By the way, it's not like that on Tube Ritual, which is really just a fantastic group. And Brian, if you're watching, love the group and everybody. Tim Knox and Gamlin, and I mean, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head, Owen, Roberto, and Nick. I mean, Gord. I mean, everybody.
There's tons of people.
There's tons of people. Diane. I mean, it's just awesome. Yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I mean, and I'm kind of new to the group. I'm not, and it's hard to contribute and pay attention to all the comments and all the threads. I try to do the hardest I can. I always feel like you should feel compelled on your own to engage. And yes, if you post constant, if there's this running theme in your post where it's just constantly self-promotional and doesn't bring any value and it's unrelated to the group theme or the group thesis. Hey, Michael, how are you? Michael just joined. Great group. Agree. Yeah. Michael, I don't want to butcher your last name, but thank you for joining. Halthusian, I'm going to go ahead and guess because I get a lot of funky names when I'm in my classroom, but that's a cool last name.
Hi, Mikey. I know Mikey.
You know Mikey.
Well.
Okay, you know Mikey. Fantastic. See, Gord's been in the group. How long have you been in the group, by the way? Gord, how long have you been in the group? Yeah.
Well, since the beginning, when
was
Brian,
the beginning?
I think it was last May.
So it wasn't on that long.
Just
I felt like such a newbie. Like I joined maybe a couple months ago, 4 or 5 months, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's incredible.
There's really been that I joined.
There's been a lot of growth in a short time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was the Tube Ritual Challenge that got me all fired up because I before then wouldn't go in front of a camera. I was like all content with my whiteboard videos and all kinds of cool stuff. I skilled myself to the moon in technical skills to do video, but I never wanted to put myself on camera. And I said, okay, here's Tube Ritual. And if I want to help people, I figured they need to be able to connect with me and to do the kind of stuff I want to do. I was, suffering by not putting myself up there. And the adage that, you're in more pain regularly in suffering by not doing than putting yourself just out there and giving it a go to see what happens.
Yeah,
so
it's like if you're going to jump, right? Don't think about it, and don't. It's like you're dying. Yeah. There's some saying speaking of adages where you die 1,000 deaths, if you're just tiptoeing to the edge, you might as well just jump and get it over with instead of dying 1,000 mini deaths. Go ahead and just leap.
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
just do it. Yeah.
And because I'm the overthinking variety, it took me a while before I got the courage to go there. So
I have to say
I
this.
do that little dance always.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You mentioned this in the intro, and Gord, man, I just effing love it. I have a YouTube show that I do. It's a live show. It's called Mindset Live, and it's really the sort of core to the core of what I do and what I try to talk about in all my classes. I've been doing this for 20 years. And it's just the stuff that most interests me, and it just seems to kind of roll that way. And Gord commented on a video and our kind of relationship, and this was a while back. I mean, not that long ago, but a while back, and our relationship just sort of blossomed. And this is all. And Sean, thank you, Sean, for the comment. Silence and hesitation lead to a shorter life. Love it. Love it. Beautiful comment by Sean Knows. Sean's another guy.
Yeah, it's like wearing yourself down.
Yeah, I got to introduce you to
it's
Sean.
It's like a wear down.
It's like a wear down, yeah. And so our kind of mutual sort of purposes for what we want to do with video and I love this. I want to talk to you guys about this show I'm doing, because I do a lot of, I don't want to say serious shit, but I mean I do a lot of stuff that, I talk about anxiety, I talk about mindsets, I talk about self-awareness, self-investigation, communications, writing. But I want to do a show, and Gord knows this because he knows I'm a silly son of a bitch. I want to do a show on Facebook Live where it's, I kind of joke and say I want to be the Jay Leno of Facebook Live, but I'm really not kidding, actually. I think I would love to do something fun and just variety and just natural and spontaneous and not overthink it. And Gord, before we got on, Gord, bless his heart, and I think all the sensitive people are like this, all the great ones are like this. He doesn't go live. I think, is this your first live, by the way, Gord? It's not.
Like this?
Yeah, have you ever streamed live before?
Yes, it is.
This is your first live?
Oh, no, I did one live on Facebook where I did my little story of the metaphor of turning lemons into lemonade when I had my car battery died. Remember that story I did?
Yeah. Okay. But he hasn't been doing this, hardly at all, and I've been doing it for quite a while. I still get nervous before I get on here, but Gord, bless his heart, he was really going through all the sort of like, is this right, is that right, and I tried to assuage him. So you guys really got to be really supportive of Gord. And Gord, isn't he doing? And by the way, guys, Nez Nation, isn't he doing a bang up job? Isn't he awesome? I think he is. So you're doing fantastic, and. So do you want to talk a little bit, Gord, about your channel, your YouTube channel, and what that's all about, and how that kind of gets things cooking?
I'll do that, and then at some point we need to talk about the book a little.
No, we will, absolutely.
Okay.
I want to get to that, and I also I need to talk about this show, Nez Nation. I need your comments. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when I started enjoying all the work that I was putting into just trying to discover my technical roots again, after I'd been focused in, tech leadership the last several years, when I quit and had a few years out of the corporate world and was exploring working in the health industry and doing other things, because I was like so burned out. I needed years off. I had a nice severance package, so I was able to like find myself, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And then after several years, I realized that, what? I need to really be
Thank
doing
you, William.
something that I...
Sorry, he said bless me. I just sneezed. You didn't hear that, did you? I tried to mute it.
No, actually, I didn't.
Okay, good. William's on the show. Welcome, William. I'm actually going to be interviewing William on a show as well. Yeah, and he does a lot of live stuff and a lot of great stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Gord. I didn't mean
great.
to interrupt. Go ahead.
So where was I?
Who knows and who cares? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so I think... yeah.
I care. I'm teasing.
I was, going through this phase of finding myself.
Finding yourself,
and,
right.
And so that's when as you call it, the eternal doubter comes into play.
Yeah.
And it was like, what am I thinking I can do to go like shift my career? I got to go look for another project management or leadership IT job. And I'm going, but no, I want to do something that I'm really going to enjoy and that's going to serve people in the community or in small business. And so after a while and after years of serving in the health industry and doing things and sort of like working and helping others, I decided that I wanted to go back to my roots, my skills in technology and teaching and other things. So I started to explore, all kinds of programs out there on everything from social media, exploring Amy Porterfield's programs, Jeff Walker. And
oh yeah,
Formula.
Amy's great.
Like all these kind of things to sort of like find where my interest would be to dive deeper.
Yeah.
And then I discovered, Lon Naylor and the Camtasia coaching group, and I had Camtasia technology, and I go, why don't I explore this? Because there's this creative side to me. And, maybe I have some talent here. And then I couldn't believe it. I found myself lost in the fun and the joy of creating the editing process and creating a storyboard.
That's great.
And then I realized, okay, so how do I serve people and make a future out of this?
Yeah.
And, there's always this pressure of feeling the age timeline. And then I realized I have to shake all of that thinking and invest in myself and believe that my heart's going to get me there. And, it's been a struggle. I fight all kinds of little challenges here and there. There's always there gnawing in the back of my mind when I have sort of a down day or something like that. But which
we all do. And by the way, those of you who don't know, and thank you, William, for sharing the video. Those of you that don't know, about the Eternal Doubter. This is a new book that I'm working on that is all about the Eternal Doubter, the guy that lives inside your brain, who is the only thing that gets in your own way. So, I mean, Gord uses that. My kid just
metaphor
walked in here. So I'm in my studio actually at home, and so is Gord. So Gord's in Toronto. I'm in Southern California. It's awesome, isn't it? It's actually Sunday, and it's supposed to be Kids' Day, but they were napping, and I thought I could maybe get on here really quick and talk to Gord. So thank you, William. So it's interesting. So Gord, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you've done here is you've had a moment of self-discovery that most people would probably attribute to a coming-of-age type of individual, meaning an adolescent turning into an adult or somebody in their younger years having this sort of realization. And you maybe had this in middle age, whereas sort of that's not very common. Or is it? Or is it just a perpetual image the media?
Well, what's interesting is when you start searching for yourself and like, what's the meaning of life now at this stage of my life? And I need to work, but what the heck am I going to do? I know what I don't want to do.
Right.
And then you start going on this path of discovery. So I started exploring courses on things like aging and, how do people prepare for retirement and what stokes their fire in this kind of age where I am. And I call it, really, it's like the second chapter of life where you reach a point in your life where your motivation is not climbing the corporate ladder, getting the next house or doing this, extra fancy renovation or the next fancy car. It's like, you know what? I need to find more joy in the day-to-day.
Right.
And whereas before I may have been more driven in sort of more of like a materialistic life climbing, progressing. And there's, we all go through different stages in our life of what our wants and desires are. And I'm just saying, for me, I needed something that was more resonating with my passion for the work at a new level that I didn't experience as much, I find, in the past. So that's what got my quest going. That's beautiful.
And, it reminds me of something that Tony Robbins said, and something I try to talk to my students about all the time. It's, when you're young, and it's not your fault. And as Nation, if you're watching my younger audience, when you're young, you're sort of hardwired to be selfish. It's really not your fault. You're not designed to be altruistic. But it's so funky how when you get older, and I know Gord can attest to this, you get older and just you find, like, when all the focus is on you, when everything is on you, and gosh, if this isn't a lesson for, if there's marketers watching or digital, storytellers or content creators or YouTubers or what have you, one thing that I remember Tony Robbins saying, which, you know, obviously he's amazing, is the more that you think about others, the more that you service others, it actually has this sort of tenfold reciprocal effect where it actually fuels you, it actually inspires you, and and really simply, it just feels so damn good, right? I mean, giving to others and servicing others. I mean, to me, I think money is important. I love how you went to the material route, which I think relates to your book and relates to my kind of purpose as well, or thesis. To me, I mean, obviously money is important, right? You can't just scoff at money, right? And I tell my students this all the time. But, I mean, the greatest feeling, if you're on my Instagram, you know this. I mean, I post it on my business page as well. When I get reactions from students where they say, Professor Nez, you know, this is the best class I've ever had, or Professor Nez, you've really inspired me. I've never heard a talk like that, or what have you. It's like, maybe it's the most selfish thing. What do you think, Gord? I mean, it's actually a selfish thing. It feels absolutely effing amazing. And I want more. I just want to do that more and more and more. So here's the contradiction of Professor Nez, right? Or maybe just the inherent paradox. I say, you know, do for others, but actually you can't do for others if it doesn't feel good or if you don't get something out of it, right? So maybe, I don't know. What's your reaction to that, Gord? I kind of threw a little philosophical monkey wrench in there. Hold on, before you comment, Michael says, I want to make sure that we engage because I'm trying to teach a course on live video as well. So I want to engage with some of our commenters. Michael says, in this age of opportunity, we are all blessed with the chance to discover new avenues. If we open our eyes and believe you can, life is wonderful. Yeah. Kudos to you, Michael.
Yeah, I think that's a great message. And I had the good fortune. I mean, this is the power and beauty of the world that we're in with the internet and accessibility to incredible stuff. I've known Mike for a while through the Camtasia community that Lon Naylor and Michelle Shane operate. And I actually got an opportunity to meet Mike in the fall at Camtasia, as well as some of the other people.
Right.
And it was just so amazing to be able to, you know, connect person in the flesh, so to speak, and enjoy their presence. And it was like, you know, you felt you really knew them kind of anyways, but this just helped, you know, crystallize things a little better. But to go back to your point, I remember when I was in my 20s, and it was like, when we graduated, it was like you needed to find a job where you were going to park your butt for the next 35 years till you retired.
I felt the same way when I was. I think you're probably a baby boomer, or maybe I'm sort of Gen X, I guess. I was born in '76. You were born in what, 67?
59.
59. Well, you don't look it, you handsome devil, you.
So wait, I apologize for interrupting, because this is very, very important.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I think is that when I was in my you were told that this is what you have to do. You have to sit your butt down and have a 35-year career, which is pretty much the same thing that I was kind of sold as well. Go ahead. Sorry. So
I actually interrupted you.
So I found my first job in a place called Kellogg's, which meant, my God, I can retire here. Cereal, it's been around forever.
Right.
So I'm a year and a half into my job, and they're like, you know, oh, you're doing great work. You know, I was a computer programmer, and I said, this is great. So I go to them after a year and a half, and I say, so I want to do the systems analyst work. How long till that? Well, that possibility comes up in 3 to 5 years. I go, really? So like, you know, so the bottom line of all this, so needless to say, within another, I don't know, half a year, I was gone. I decided to leave because this was too slow moving for me. And it took a lot of time and to break down a lot of like beliefs that that were thrown to us as we grow up, and how our mindset gets locked in.
Yeah. That,
you know what, maybe it's not just about working in one place, and that there's something called happiness, and it's not about being chained to a desk and get your golden handcuff retirement thing, because you actually have to live this life while you're going through it. It's a journey, not a prison to get a bucket of cash when you retire or something, right?
Right.
So for me, you know, when I got let go at 50, it was like, oh my God,
boom,
this like, exactly. And like now I'm in a world where it's like the kids of today
fun to
are
go to
told,
work,
and no,
so to
wait,
speak.
wait,
Yeah.
wait. Expect that experience, whatever.
Yeah.
10 different things in your life, jobs, careers, different things. Like you'll be exploring. It's not going to be about finding one thing. And I think because of the world of the internet, it's created so much incredible opportunity for connection and growth that, you know, the diversity of what people get to experience now coming out into the marketplace is phenomenal.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, I have some good young friends that are, you know, very bright and energetic. And it's funny. Now I see, because the world is so, you know, ADD in general, that we're scattered, that the younger people need to have more patience, and they will be rewarded, because I think oftentimes they don't have the patience to stick through something to get to a goal.
And that's where the eternal
and
doubter
achieve
comes
something.
in. That's where the eternal doubter comes in, because, and it's so, if I just may, it's so beautiful what you just said right there. You get excited about something, and the honeymoon is over, you know, pretty quickly, right? And then
Right.
that dude comes in, and he says, "See, I told you it was a terrible idea. See, you're never going to follow through. It's not worth it. You're not getting enough fire. How do you really want to do this? You're not good enough. You're not fat enough. You're not old enough. You're not smart enough." Those questions start lurking, and because you don't see the results you want, which are mostly vanity metrics probably, or you don't see, you know, the sales or conversions come in right away, or you don't see the, you know, the impact that you want to have, you give in and you give up. And I think that, you know, obviously there's a lot of people out there who are advocating quick, you know, quick fix, quick rich, you know, get rich quick and get successful and get 6-pack abs in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, how much of the
It's not
courses
realistic.
and material that's promoted to us through social media that is promoting, you know, how to make this happen quickly and in 5 easy steps and you're there. I mean, I get that, but no matter what, I mean, believe me, when I actually had to buckle down a few years back, when I started to dig into what I was doing now in YouTube, I realized, you know, the honeymoon lasted for as long as just getting shiny objects and experiencing new toys and the excitement about that. And then it's like, well, you know, someday I have to be kind of productive and be able to earn. So in my commitment to build out a YouTube channel to be able to educate people to succeed in video, you know, and now that's moving along nicely. And I specialize in things like Camtasia and how to do your setups and the creator skills you need to operate your camera, your audio, and the lighting,
and I'm going to share.
Stuff. So
I'm going to share. I'm definitely going to share your. By the way, everybody who's watching, and thank you for watching. If you're watching this on the replay. I'm going to share not only a link to his new book, which we're going to get to shortly, but I'm also going to share a link to his channel, which is phenomenal. Gord has helped me out so much, and if you are a video creator, if you are somebody who's interested in, you know, leveraging your message and amplifying it, I would definitely go to Tube Ritual and see if you can get in. I'm sure, I don't know what the, you know, process. Well, I can't even remember. I think I just asked to be added and he said sure. I think, I can't remember, but definitely try to join that group because it's a phenomenal group. But you know, before so I'm gonna put links to that, but just for the sake of time, I want to talk a little bit about this new show, and then we're going to talk about Gord's awesome new book, Petals of Fire of Heaven.
Life.
I'm
life.
sorry. Petals of Life. The beauty of going live. See, the schmuck comes out eventually. So the show. So guys, I want some comments on what you think. So this, let me just give you a little premise of this, and Gord has a lot of great feedback too, which is why I'm so happy he's on. So I want to create a talk show where literally this is the message, and I want you to tell me what you think. An interview with interesting people talking about interesting things, everything from silliness to controversy and everything in between. I have a concept for the title. Let me know what you think of this, Gord. And Michael, thank you so much for watching. Mindy's in the house. Good to see you, Mindy. Thank you, Michael. So my title of the show is What in the World? ? What in the World with your host, Professor Nez. I'm not sure if I'll do Peter Nez or Professor Nez. I need to kind of stick to the branding. So it'll be What in the World with a cool logo, cool graphics, right? Just envision this. What in the World? conversations with interesting people about interesting things, from silliness to controversy and everything in between. What in the world is the title of the show? It'll be a Facebook Live show, a talk show. Think of it as Jay Leno meets maybe a social media podcast or something. It'll be fun. It'll be silly. It'll also be valuable. And just it'll take the natural course that I think conversations make. Some of the people who are watching right now, I'm planning on interviewing. And if you're watching this as well, I don't like to have everything so regimented and compartmentalized. Gord is the exact opposite. He loves everything compartmental, which is probably why I think a lot of people who go on YouTube love the fact that that mindset really complements that platform. Whereas Twitter Live, Facebook Live, and all these things that I like to, all the platforms, Snapchat, it's very, very complementary to my personality, which is just get out there and cook, right? But everybody's different. So what do you think of that? And Gord, I'll go to you first. And I want, if you're watching on the replay, I mean, fantastic. Leave comments, please, because I check all the comments. What in the world? A show where Professor Nez interviews interesting people about interesting things, from silliness to controversy and everything in between. I mean, I can see the logo. I can see everything. What are your thoughts on that, Gord? Is that too broad? Is it too narrow? Is it not narrow enough? Is it not specific? Is it going to be a flop? Which it probably will be, but I don't give a rat's ass. No, I'm kidding. What do you think?
Well,
what in the world?
It's interesting.
What in the world are you talking about, Professor Nez?
Yeah, so that's a good way to intro it each day. What in the world are we going to talk about today? Right?
Yeah.
So, I find it interesting. At first, my reaction is it's like a very broad topic, but knowing.
Why did I feel like you were going to say that?
No, but knowing you and your
Thank
curiosity
you,
with people.
Yeah.
Knowing your curiosity with people and how you talk to them, that you'll bring a lot of interesting dynamics and lessons to your audience from that. And I think with anything, it's just like me in my channel, I start and I focus and dive in a few areas, in niche or sub-niche areas, in what my channel broader focus is about video creator skills. But I think over time, regardless, whether I decide to do interviews, which I want to do as well, interview, different YouTubers, influencers, and companies on products and different kinds of things, and do product reviews. I mean, the scope is endless where I want to go. But I think we need to also listen to our audience as we start to shape it. So I say, yeah,
this is part of the reason.
Go for what you want, and listen to your audience, but it needs.
Hey,
to be
Brian G's in the house. Okay, sorry, Gord. Brian G's in the house. You have to.
Awesome.
You have to stop everything when Brian G joins. How you doing, Brian? Good to see you.
Awesome. Hey, boss.
That is the serious boss, guys. Talk about, and you know what? I'll definitely share a link to his channel as well in the notes, because Brian has been such a super help, as well as Gord and everybody in that group. So Brian, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Gord, I have a comment really quickly.
Can I give my comment now first?
Oh, sorry. Did you actually have a comment?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't realize that was a comment. I thought it was an essay. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Okay, I'll try to minimize it and not be an essay.
It's so funny.
Just a soliloquy.
It's so funny because Gord was like, "I'm so nervous. I don't want to go on live." He won't shut up. You're not nervous at all. You're completely taking over the show. I love it. I'm totally teasing.
So a significant part of my journey the last few years, particularly since last May, when I enrolled in Brian's Trust Funnel Academy, my life changed. I saw something special in Brian, aside from the incredible value that he gives to people and the energy he puts into everything that he does. He's a truly incredibly caring individual.
Oh yeah.
And he got me to fight, and he's a coach for me to fight a lot of that internal doubter that we're talking about today. And it's made a huge difference to have a supporter like that in your camp. And now it's like, here I am. Here's another experiment for me that, like you say, I may not have had the courage to do before, but now I'm happy to be here. And because of great people like that and what Brian's doing for our community and for everyone, and Nick too, like these guys are just amazing, been great support and helpers,
definitely.
right?
Definitely. Okay, so oh my God. So what you just said there, Gord, was just phenomenal because so what Brian has done, and maybe you could you characterize it, Gord, as holding you kind of accountable, right? Like holding you accountable
Yes.
for. So Gord, literally that fragrance has rubbed off on Gord, Brian. If you're watching, Brian.
It's a poodle fragrance.
It's a poodle fragrance. I can smell it from here. What is that? Is that poodle? And so he has basically done the same thing for me. Gord has held me accountable. Gord has, I mean, honestly, Gord, your help and your push to get my audio done right, get my video done right, get things cooking, get things shaped.
Actually, Peter, I'm going to expose you here because I'd say for it's at least a couple of months, I've been hearing the same dance about you sorting out a microphone.
You're right.
And you've gone through 2 or 3 different ones. And I'm thinking, like, what's preventing you from pulling the trigger?
Nothing.
It's that you needed a little accountability to push you.
This dude right here. And just now, I mean, I will say, because, you know, we all like to defend ourselves superciliously, that, yeah, I've got a lot of courses I teach. I got a lot of classes I teach. You know, I'm teaching at like 5 different universities. I got kids, I got a wife, and I've got also, I mean, a lot of you YouTube creators and content creators and digital storytellers, you know, a lot of you have gotten to a level where you can do this full time. I'm hoping I can too, and God bless you, and I think it's awesome. And thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Michael just said that mic sounds great. What LOL? Brian says, what LOL? Brian, your impact is enormous. And so, nothing. I mean, literally nothing. And Gord kept pushing me. Pushing me in such a beautiful, like nudging. Maybe nudging is a better verb, not really pushing, right, Gord? And you really did. You really just. It helped. It helps to have. This is why Facebook groups. And Brian does this too. So Brian will post regularly in Tube Ritual, just almost like a sort of. I don't want to say a commandment, but just a real cool, like, probe, if you will. Hey, guys, what are you doing? Or what's your plans? Or what's your video plans? Or who's doing what? He almost keeps the group accountable, which I honestly...
It's exactly what he does.
I don't know any other Facebook admin who does that. Yeah, I don't know any other Facebook admin who does that. And I'm in a lot of groups. Probably too many.
Well, think about it. If you're known as a poodle wrangler, you need to be wrangling regularly.
Yeah, exactly. Feed those poodles. Feed them. They're hungry. I can tell. Feed those poodles. Yeah, and he's just what a talent. If there's anybody, and so I want to talk. So the show. So you think that the show is too broad?
Basically, no. I'm saying,
was I just not listening at all?
It sounds very broad in scope, but I said when you start to interview different types of people and you start to hear from the audience that you're communicating with, you're going to learn what they like and what they don't like and suggestions and things. And I'm saying this was the challenge about the internet to me. I call it the internet ether. You know, when I started out my channel, and Brian was the one that explained this all to me, you know, now I have about 450 plus subs, but he said to me for his first 300 plus, it was just like, a shout out in an empty a shout out into an empty forest, thinking like, where are the people? Why aren't they coming? Right. And then you don't really know when it's going to happen. Of course, we learn all the great tricks on how to optimize the product we're creating and delivering, but you know, we can't sit there and control when those triggers are going to happen. So we keep trying to
never mind the results.
Change it up.
Never mind the results, right,
yeah.
Gord? Did you see that episode, or you didn't see that episode? Did you? I mean, he claims to watch my videos. And then he only leaves comments on like 1 or 2. For crying out loud, Gord, you're killing me.
Of course, everyone knows that's just 100% not true.
Of course it is. Brian just said, check this out, Gord. I don't know if you can see it on your desktop, but Brian just said, gosh, I'd like to join this group. Sounds awesome.
Well, you said one day we're going to have like a bunch of folks on and it's going to be cool. Actually, with Zoom, we have the potential to add other people in.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I'm using
if you're the technical savvy guy.
You're the technical savvy guy, but you're more than that.
Actually, it was me.
It was you.
I could probably invite. Well, I don't know if that's appropriate if Brian wants to come in, or he's just teasing us.
Hey, we can have as many people as we'd like in here.
That's true.
But I want to get to, because I gotta go. It's my son's.
We have to talk about
We have to talk about your book. Okay, so so just to wrap up this segment of the show, if you will, leave some comments. Let me know if you like the title of the show. If you don't like the title, say, Professor Nez, that's stupid. I'm very open to suggestions. I do not get offended. Or I don't get if it's constructive. I'm still a human being. I hurt, right? I bleed. But if it's constructive, I want to hear it. And hey, Professor Nez, I would take this out. I would do this. I would be specific. I would not be specific. And cheers, Brian. Brian says cheers. And thank you, Michael. Book and channel, Gord. Yeah. So I want to hear comments. Leave comments below. I will check all of them. Let me know what you think. And if you're interested, I've already talked to Brian about being interviewed. If you're interested, let me know. Send me a private message, and we can get something set up to where I would have you on the show. Gord's going to be obviously a regular. Gord, you're going to be on my show a shit ton. I don't even care if you disagree or if you say no. I'm going to make you be on my show because I love Gord to death. So now we're going to get to, so please do that if you have the chance, Nez Nation. So now we're going to get to something that I'm really, really proud of, something I'm so impressed with. This beautiful, beautiful new book that Gord has just published on Amazon. Is that correct, Gord?
Yeah, right now it's just a Kindle ebook, but in a few months' time, I'm going to make a soft copy version, and that's because I have to do a whole bunch of reformatting work. So that's going to take a little time. But yeah, for now, it's only available on ebook.
Okay, I want to show the cover of this because it's so beautiful, and this is going to be really crappy for a second, but anyway. So, Gord, we can hear our voices, and we're looking at the cover. We're looking at the cover of your book, okay? And it's called Petals of Life, Wisdom Imagery for Daily Guidance, Joy and Inspiration. I had the good fortune of getting a free PDF copy of this, okay? And I think Gord has some kind of offer for us on this live stream as well, if you're interested. But tell us a little bit about this book, Gord, and then tell us how it came to fruition.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so first off, the special offer is like for the first few weeks that it went live, as I show in my little video that's on Facebook, that I'm giving away a free PDF version to anybody who wants one. I'll just send them a link. They just need to PM me or put a note in the Facebook, my homepage, where I have a nice video explaining about the book, and I talk about the offer there. So this book, as I say to you, I went through the cycle where I came out of the corporate world and I spent years kind of finding myself. And then I finally came across, for years, I've actually met this teacher here in Toronto. Her name is Almeen, and she helped me, I'll call it, learn to get in touch much more with what I call my higher self, because I was living too much of my life with so much external dependency and existence on everything around me, and not really connecting with me inside, knowing truly what my wants are, what my boundaries are, and all kinds of things. And then I started to read her teachings, and I found I got much more, centered, grounded, and happier through experiencing her material and sometimes going to a few retreats and things that she would host. Then she published in 2014 this, it's like a deck of cards, but
now they're
it's
looking
all
now, Gord,
with
just
special
in case,
sayings.
Well, hold on a second, Gord. They're looking at, they're actually, they
the
don't
book
see,
cover.
Yeah, they don't see you. So do you want me to go back to you and talk a little bit?
Yeah, come back to me first, and then we'll show a picture from the
Okay.
book after, so
No
that they
problem.
can see what I actually did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We back?
Yes. Okay, and I think they can hear me now too. For some reason, my audio was muted. I don't know why. Can you hear me now, Gord?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, so we are back.
It's a matter of whether the audience can hear you.
I hope so. Well, they heard me before, I think.
Okay.
Let me know if you can hear me. Mike, you still there? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So continue. Yeah, the cards.
So these cards here are
This is such a cool
a deck
idea,
of
NEZNATION.
60 cards
Yeah.
called Elfin Quest, but it's about, like the title of my book says, it's guidance for, daily guidance for joy and
Thank you, Mike.
inspiration. And I started to read these cards, and it was like, you know what? Each one of these is something great to think about, and helped me sort of process things or challenges that I would be dealing with, to try to find and think of a way to be what I call more of the observer of the of myself, so that I could, find my way in my journey to be sort of a happier soul. And the information.
And this is a deeply personal work
me.
for you, right? I mean, this isn't something that you do every day. This is just something that you, because
whenever I want to get a little inspiration, and I'm feeling a little off, I don't hesitate to go grab these, pull out a couple of cards, and it's very healing. It's nurturing. And I have a sample, like I'm just going to read one sample to you here.
Please.
So it gives you an example of like something to ponder, and it's a great message and a lesson. So this one says, many obsess over yesterday's pain, while some define themselves by it. Others suppress it with the clamor of the dialogue of the mind. Masters rise above it, knowing that the well-lived moment changes all that went before.
Oh, I love what was the adjective? Clamor of the mind, the wild clamor?
Clamor of the dialogue of the mind.
Clamor of the dialogue of the mind, which, beautiful.
So if you think about it, how powerful is that? Telling us not to live in the past, be more present, and that all the energy we waste sort of focus there is not taking us forward. So I can take a card like this, one a day, any time, it feels great. So here's the thing, Peter, what I wanted to share with everyone is, I got so inspired by these cards. I said, wouldn't it be cool if I could take some of the messaging from these cards and marry them with my photographs? It hit me that I had something special creatively to add to almost like supercharge these phenomenal messages. And that all of a sudden, here's Gord, the creator. And this was really my first project that predated the YouTube stuff and everything, trying to explore myself. Like, who the internal doubter was saying, who am I to be a creator? Like, who do you think you are? You're not a professional photographer.
He doubts eternally. That's his job. That's all he does is he doubts. Right. He never takes a minute off. He doubts eternally. Hence the word. Gosh, and Gord, isn't it just, Gord's not a spiritual, he's not one of these guys who sits in a cave in the Himalayas, or somebody who goes on a retreat or claims to be a renowned spiritual individual and writes a book and goes on Oprah, although you probably wouldn't mind that. But Gord is just, this is what I try so hard. And Gord, this is the reason I'm saying this. Gord is just your everyday, average, awesome dude. I mean, I tell my students all the time, none of this shit is woo-woo. We're not trying to get woo-woo. We're not trying to get all like mystical and all that. But it's just really practical. It's practical stuff. Yeah.
It's very practical stuff. But the thing is, the perceptions that we all have, to me, before I started to explore this, it was all woo-woo to me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Eternal doubters now saying you're going down some woo-woo path. And I go, no, this is really my journey. And if it takes me there, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. And I would never judge anyone for that. I mean, we each find what resonates with our inner self, right? And the thing is, so I don't look at any of that. I now have a much more open perspective on life to experience things like this, because I want to continue to peel the layers of the onion off and discover who I am. And these are tools that have helped me do that.
And thank you. That's awesome, Gord. And also, this is the whole reason why I wanted to do my show, because this new show that I'm talking about is because we're all multifaceted. We all have different aspects of ourselves. We're not all one-dimensional. We have many different sides to our personality. We have many different sides. And I think you can't be a creator and not have, all these things pulling and tugging inside you, because just for the very nature of being a creator, you're constantly being inspired by things that are really beyond your control. I mean, really, I truly mean that. I feel that. And so, and I love that sort of, I think by being transparent about that struggle, and I think there's true nobility in the struggle. I think being very authentic and honest about that struggle. And Gord, if I may, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Gord has a very specific audience, a very specific channel, and not to put Gord in a hot seat here, but Gord was a little bit trepidatious about doing this, correct, Gord? You were a little bit like, should I put this out? Which again, and I don't think I'm saying anything you haven't said already, which again is that eternal doubter, right? And to me, it just shows how multifaceted you are. It actually shows all the rich colors. You're not just blue, you're not just orange, you're not just red. You have all, Yeah,
so in that picture, there's the part of me that knows I'm so excited about what the future holds because of where I've come in just the last year, from being afraid to sit in front of the camera, having the eternal doubter saying me, who do I have the right to be this? And who says I'm any good at any of these things? To overcome all of those things, have such great support from the communities, which has been a profound impact on me, to now say, hey man, I don't know where this goes. It's about allowing yourself to experience the unknown, and it's powerful. If we allow ourselves and take the limitations off and take the cage off. I don't know if you ever, if you're too young for this, Peter, but do you remember Gumby and Pokey?
Oh yeah,
the little clown.
Of course.
Okay, they used to have a thing called the Groobies, and I joke about it. They're like these flying in bees, and in the claymation world, they would tack up a cage around Gumby or Pokey. It was just hilarious. So I always would call that, I've broken the cage off.
Yeah.
And I still have the eternal doubter I battle.
So do
I'm getting better at dealing with him.
Yeah.
But I know life's experiences are going to be so much richer if I take the step, just like I'm doing here right now with you. And you've made it so easy for me to come and do this, because you make people very relaxed by your nature and the way you kid around. And so, I had hesitation, but the least amount of hesitation I would probably have to do this.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was the most adorable thing ever. I mean, you should have seen it, guys. NEZNATION. Gord to me, it shows how much he cares. Any jerk can get up here and do it. If he didn't care, there wouldn't be any, cause for concern, or there wouldn't, I don't think there'd be any quality. You have to care so much that, you're going to get the sweats, you're going to get the anxiety, you're going to get the nerves, but you're still going to execute, and it's going to feel fantastic.
So
I gotta cut us.
Can I add one last?
Yes,
point?
Absolutely. Yes, and then I gotta go, or we gotta cut it because we've gone over an hour. Yeah.
Sure. My last point was that, at my age, I want people to be able to see it doesn't matter what age you are, and that you should go after and try and experience, and it's okay to fall down. I'm a total perfectionist at heart, and believe me, some of the things that I'm changing and learning to do, I'm probably much slower than I would be able to transform if I didn't have some of those things I'm challenged with. But to live without attempting to express that song that's in you is kind of a shame. It's a regret you don't want to have later in life. And I feel great that at this age I've gone through to this point, and I continue to be committed to it and explore further. And I wish that everyone else, and that's part of my mission in what I'm doing in video creation channel, and what I do is to help people in the ways I can and coach them and then learn from products and things I'm eventually going to bring out, and that they can definitely do it too. Because, here I am, I started fresh, late, in midlife or whatever you want to call my age.
Yeah.
And that you can
age is
do
a
it too.
moot point here. I think it's a moot point. I think anybody can do this, and it's an equalizer.
Absolutely.
You just got to put out. If you put out good shit, it's going to be awesome. I want to just say really quickly, Michael, thank you so much for watching. Michael says Professor Nez and the Seventh Dimension Talk Show. That's not a bad title. And then he also said, "Great show, guys. Look forward to seeing more in the future." Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate you watching. And I'm going to definitely check out your stuff as well. Thank you so much. And perhaps Michael could get on here as well sooner than later. Gord, I want to just tell you from the bottom of my heart, you've been a huge inspiration. You've really helped me out a lot. I think this new book is phenomenal. I think you should all get it. I'm going to supply links. Gord's going to send me all the links to put in the description. I'm also going to link his channel. If you're a content creator, if you're a video creator, if you're a YouTuber, if you're looking to start, if you're looking to create courses, this guy's got all the goods. I'm going to link up Brian's channel as well. If you're looking to leverage and amplify your message on YouTube, Brian's channel is fantastic. And maybe I'll even link up the Tube
And people
Ritual.
should join Tube Ritual community for sure.
Yeah, I will. It's probably Nez Nation. I am a part of a lot of Facebook groups, and I hate to sound, as I don't like to make comparisons, but I just want to say this group is effing awesome. It just kicks absolute ass. So, thank you so much for watching. It absolutely means the world to me. Gord, you are so awesome yourself, and thank you for coming on and being a guest on the show. And I am very pleased with what you're doing, and thank you so much. Everybody out there in Facebook land, leave comments.
My pleasure.
Please leave comments. If you got something out of this,